back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Ann, Disembodied Hands, Quindy, Disembodied Beard, John, and maybe a Kuro if she's around. I'm not sure. Maybe. Hopefully. I'm not seeing a Kuro in chat, though, so maybe no Kuro. The beard is here. The beard is here. Alright, that's good. That's good. Hi there, Kiki. Kiki's also behind me, hiding behind the screen here. She likes that I cleared out this area under my desk. She's going to not like when I put my my walking pad there. Oh, right, it's Friday. I keep thinking it's like Thursday or something. My brain is gone. Like, I'm just like, I have too much to get done by the end of Saturday and not enough time to do it. And it's just like, it's like that. It's totally like that. So my brain is like wishing it was Thursday, but it's not. Yes, it is the only unfortunate part. It's true. It's true. All right, let's get our ghosties going on. Although actually, first I'm gonna because I don't like how these plates look right now. I'm gonna grab some. Let's grab some Ruddy Flesh, the old Ruddy Flesh. It's a little darker than Rich Leather. Covers a little better. I'm gonna just use that real quick to pop it in here and outline these plates. And get our little palette here, and then we'll go and do green. I'm just trying to get my book edited in time, that's all. And there's like a couple of I'm finding a lot of little things, so plus you guys, plus my beta readers are finding stuff, right? So I really have to go tonight. I have to go through and I have to make my punch list so that I can correct everything. But yeah, so it's like, it's book for the next couple days, solid. After that, I'm pretty good because, like, I can still make edits on the ebook, but the print book has to be finalized, so everything really will be finalized by the end of Saturday. And then it's just like trying to get my ads together for the launch. It will be a relief when the 21st comes and everything happens, and it's just like, from there on, it's just like, I can't do anything more. I can see why people are like, I just launched before. I didn't do a launch. Like, I put the book out there. I told you guys about it. I told my email list about it. I told my Facebooks about it. My Facebooks are growing, by the way. The Facebook author group. For a long time, it was stuck around 50 or 60. Now it's at over 150, I think. So it's growing. My little audience is growing. It's cute. It's so cute. So anyway, we're going to grab our brush. We're going to take our, the old Ruddy Leather, which is different. The new Ruddy Leather is a little bit different. I've lightened it just a little bit. I've made it a little bit more fleshy. It's very saturated here, and it needed to be just a little bit desaturated to be a good skin tone. So, yeah, glad to hear you're feeling a little better, Crowley. But yeah, so the new Ruddy Flesh will be a little bit different. It will still work fine with our other dark skin tones. Put just a little water in this. But my version of the original here, I'm just going to use it for an NMM base, which I often did anyway. So many things I want to get done. Because the problem is, like, with putting this walking pad under my desk, I really want to get her done, right? But I also have to get her done on all this other stuff this week. Because I want to get my $5 PDF out, too. There's just so much. And then, of course, the book edits are a hard deadline. Like, I cannot shift that. I have to get that done. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple days for Anne. Plus, you know, Saturday is usually my running day and my streaming day. I might have to cancel my stream this Saturday. I didn't even ask if you were available this Saturday, actually, Quindy. Now would be a good time for you to have a family dinner or lunch. He'll ask you're available. Well, maybe we'll just do a short stream then. Although once I'm painting, it's like, I tend to just go. We'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll try to run earlier. Or maybe I'll shift. I can't shift my run to Sunday because it's That's when I'm doing the big box step-up workout, the 1,000 box step-ups. We'll see how many box step-ups I actually get done. But it seems like a lot of people who are coming want to see, like, they're like me, they want to see how far they can push it, and if they can get to 1,000, they will. So... there we go. Alright, sorry, I saw some fur on that, and I had to get it off of there. Hey, Laura. Oh, right. Thanksgiving will take... yeah, that makes sense. Thanksgiving takes the place of family dinner. Yeah, completely. Kiki, no woofins, please. Just hang out. It's stream time. It's work, Bubba. So I just want to get these a little bit more in tune. Like, I want to start seeing how this is actually going to look. I'm going to finish base coating these knee plates and line around them. And then I'm actually going to start doing the green on the leg here just to see how this is all going to work. And if I'm going to make the judgment call on whether I want to kind of bring the green up onto these plates or not. The way they're sculpted, I shouldn't. They're sculpted as if they're corporeal. Morning, Slayer. Yeah, so I don't really want to run on the day when I'm doing the 1,000 box step-ups, but I have to do my long run sometime. Kiki, enough or you're out. Shut it. Settle. Yes. Settle. You're fine. Settle the F. Wait, it's Friday. Settle the fuck down. Go. Come on. Work. Work, Kiki. Settle. Yeah, be quiet. Settle down. Just hang out. Yeah. Hey, Russian. How's it going? Oh, I've got fur in my nose. Yes, there you go, Quindy. It's a real Friday. Hey, yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna... I feel like I've been working out very hard lately, and I haven't, as usual, I've been like cutting my calories from lower than I'm supposed to, and I just feel like it's getting tired again. It's frustrating as heck because I want to keep losing weight. And maybe the answer is just to up my calories a little bit and just see if I can body recomp or something. I don't know. Lose fat, gain muscle. But I really want the scale to keep going down. I really do. Yeah. So it's kind of frustrating. It's kind of a struggle lately. I can't decide what to do. It's very frustrating when you're like an older woman on the shorter side, so you don't have a big calorie allotment anyway, and you somehow have to fit in all this protein, which is supposed to help you not lose muscle mass. And then you also have to fit in, if you're working out, you have to fill in all these carbs, because if you don't, your glycogen's going to be depleted, and you're just going to feel like your legs are going to be dead whenever you try to do a workout. And you can't have very many calories overall to fit all that in because you're, 5'5" and 53 years old and female. It's a struggle, people. It's just a struggle. And I don't believe in low-fat diets. So, my fat's already pretty low, all things considered. That's all the macros I've got, so I don't know. I have to figure it out. Figure out how I'm going to tackle it. But I'm going to be tossing a lot of running back in, so it's like... Kiki, enough! No, it's nothing to be concerned about. You need to settle down right now. Yes. Or I'm going to close the door and then you really won't hear anything. You'll be bored in here and stuck in here. And you don't want that either. I think I might make his little toe the gold color. So you can see that the current Ruddy Flesh is actually a pretty good base coat for gold. It's really rich and gold and like a really saturated color. Alright. So now we've got a little bit more continuity here. And the plates look a little better. Alright, I'm going to start. I'm going to check and make sure I've got all my little nubbins off of here. And the thing is, if I'd lost more weight, like if I was down to like below 160, I might just up my calories and, you know, go for the recomp and see, you know, if I can just keep losing weight by increasing my activity. Since I'm going to be running more and more to get ready for next year. There we go. All right. Just want to take the nubbins off that I could see. And let's do the back of the leg here. We're going to be using our elemental green, aka clear green, aka phthalo green, as we are switching our clear green to a proper single pigment paint for 2.0. If you want to make the old clear green, all you have to do is take some phthalo and drop some elemental yellow into it, and you'll be fine. It just essentially for the current clear green, we warmed it up a bit because people seemed to want the crayon green instead of the actual useful pigment green. Since that time, things have changed, and people are now looking for a phthalo green, understanding that they can mix the crayon green by just adding a little bit of yellow. So we are moving forward with that, but we're using the phthalo here with a little bit of that yellow in it to get this kind of like really neon green this underneath here. So I'm going to mix that up. And adding a bit of white as well, because we're working up to Dungeon Slime, which is our really pale yellow-green here. Because, as Quindy says, I apparently hate moth green and did not have it in my drawer here. I don't think I really want to use a full strength phthalo though, so I'm going to drop a little yellow into it, and then I'll bring this one up even lighter. Oh, come on. That's a bit much. Yes, I hate you. That's why I beg you to come to my Saturday streams. And why I won't put one on if I don't have a Quindy. Or very rarely. Very rarely. Only if I'm really, really, like, in the mood to paint will I put one on without a Quindy. Alright, there we go. So we're one drop. So that's a 4-to-1, and it gives us the old clear green, pretty much. You could even make it more yellow if you wanted to. But, so, 4 of the elemental green, 1 drop of elemental yellow gives you Gives you crayon green, essentially. Then we're here, we're going to go with like 3 drops of the... And that's still not enough yellow. I need it to really go yellowy. What a woeful day it is to be you, indeed. Lack-a-day. Welcome to the stream, Eeyore. Uh-oh, I slapped my green over a little bit. That's alright. Okay, so we'll keep that, and then we're going to go over here and make an even more yellowy green. Somebody even call it wicked. Laura, nice. Elfina green. We can't do that. This is like copyrighted. There we go. Now we're getting there. That's what I want. It's like a moth-ear moth. I like to do things the hard way. Yeah, I could have called it Wicked Green. That's right. That would be funny. I want to put a little bit of white in that. I'd say that you were beating a dead horse with that, Quindy. Yeah, but Elfina as a name is not. The original Wizard of Oz did not give a name, I believe, to the Wicked Witch. Elfina is a Gregory Maguire name construct, therefore it is under copyright. Now, I haven't read the Oz books for years, but I did actually read all of the Oz books when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure, or Alphaba, sorry. Yes, that's Gregory Maguire, and so it is currently under copyright. Yeah, the original very much is in fairy tales. Like, there's a lot of fairy tales in the original Oz, which is probably why I love it, or loved it as a kid. And so there's a lot of no proper names that way. I mean, you can say it, we could have named it Wicked Green, sure. We could have named something Wicked Green if we wanted to. Because Wicked is just a descriptor, and they can't do anything about that. But you can't use the actual proper name. No way. Kiki, no. Yeah, you know. She's like, fine, I'll go back in the back room. See if I can find something to bark at out here. Right, yeah. Wicked the word cannot be copyrighted. Wicked the word in conjunction with a green-skinned witch based on the Wizard of Oz, absolutely can be copyrighted. But yeah, we're not necessarily going there, so. Alright, so my lineup looks like that. Yeah, good. I'm just adding a little bit of Dungeon Slime to that. Mix it up and we'll be ready to go. Yes, we are back to the dead horse. I have gotten about quarter to a third of the way through my edits on Three Favors, but I have to finish my edits and then compile all the edits and then actually execute on all the edits, so it's like, eek. Alright, and some white, just for little bits. Alrighty, there we are. There's our undead horse pentad. With very little of this, just for the darkest parts. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, here we go. Alright, so we'll pop these out of the way and we will proceed. Now I do want that darkest green to come in all around the leg here because I want the leg to stand out from the rest of the horse. So that's where we use this darkest green color, is we pull it in when we really need to create some contrast somewhere. So it's essentially my liner. Even though it's a transparent medium green. And I'll be kind of blending that in with my next green up. And we'll go up to the very brighter green. Alrighty. I've noticed Hyper Bunny hasn't been on lately. Are they busy? I was gifted the original Oz books by my godmother, who's passed away now, when I was a kid. So, since I was a voracious reader, and I loved fantasy at that point, I absolutely devoured them. In fact, at least a little, there's kind of a little inspiration coming from Oz for an upcoming Bear Kings book. Like there's something that like lived in my subconscious and definitely sprang out from those books. There was one particular Oz book that I loved. It was very fairy tale. So there's kind of an homage to it. I'm sure they're around. I just wondered. Schedules change. Sometimes people disappear from the stream. They were here for a long time, so I wasn't sure. It's just the same when Kodiak disappeared a while back, but that turned out to be a work thing. That I always notice when people who are regular just kind of disapparate. I'm like, oh noes. It's fine. If they have time, I'm sure they'll be back. But yes, I do notice when y'all disappear, just in case you wondered. Yeah, I read Wicked. I've read a couple of the other. I've read Son of a Witch. I'm not big on McGuire's stuff. Like, kind of. I like what he did because he was super creative, and I love how he used the Oz world, and it feels like Oz. Um, but otherwise, I'm not as into his books. Yeah. I mean, Wicked Witches are kind of universal. It's definitely an archetype. That's why I appreciate McGuire's books, because he did something different with her. I like how he turned everything on its head. The whole story. I liked Evil Dorothy. Like I felt like Dorothy really made a good evil character. So we're just bringing this in, and now I'll start coloring in the leg, and then I'll start darkening down this and lightening up that. Oh yeah, that Dorothy was evil. Yeah. It's just she just makes a great evil character. It's always kind of like satisfying when you can take a character who's like depicted to be so innocent and simple and can actually turn it into a malevolent entity. It's just something I think our psyches are kind of delighted at. All right, so I'm not going to go as dark as I went into that shadow. My darkest color for the leg itself is going to be the next color up. And I'm going to start kind of tracing around my little tendrils here. Yeah, it's true. No, it's not black and white. In McGuire's books especially, he's doing a lot of social commentary and everything is shades of gray. Social and political commentary. It's true, but my favorite, I believe, is Emerald City of Oz. I loved that book. I'd have to double check to see if that was the correct one. It's where the chicken is the hero. I appreciate a chicken hero. Oh, there are a ton. Yeah, all right, Emerald City, yeah. I think they're the most true fantasy in a lot of ways, as you say, not as wackadoo, but more almost traditional fantasy. Emerald City is the one with the Gnome King, right? Yeah, if you're into that and you read my books, you will. When we get to the right book, you will recognize. You'll recognize my callback then, Shotten. It's good to know somebody might. It won't be evident to anybody who hasn't read that book. Yeah, for sure, Shotten. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an old series. It's been around a while. I may need to go to my my high solid white if I'm going to cover over some of this. We'll see. Yeah, there is some definitely some stuff that would be utterly horrifying. Yes, I feel like Gregory Maguire kind of got that, and because a lot of the stuff that happens in the Oz books is utterly horrifying in his Oz book. I mean, I don't know if you'd like them or not, Twistome. I mean, they are kids' books. I think that if you don't have a huge interest in Oz in like the history of the world and everything, you don't really have to like read anything. The books are definitely dated at this point, but there are some gems in there, yeah. But it is kids. I mean, they are children's books, so. Yeah, exactly. Return is based on several. Yep, yep. Yeah, yeah. Return to Oz. Yep. Yep, yep. Gosh, it's been a long time. But yeah, my godmother would give me. She started out giving me a few, and then I think she just bought a new one for me every year for my birthday. So I ended up with the whole series. Keekers, you're not my favorite person today, Keekers. Yeah, see, I've gone a bit dark, and this can be problematic because the green pigment, these phthalocyanines, blues and greens tend to be a little staining. So sometimes it can be hard to, when you want to pull back on that, to layer up white over it to get your light back. Then I want to lighten up that foot a bit, so I can darken this area. Hi there, Kiki. Hi. Hi, Fuzz. Hi. Yes, I do love you when you're not barking. I do love you when you're not barking. Yes, tell everybody how David abandoned you last night to go to a team dinner with his people, and then Mama had to go to CrossFit, leaving Kiki alone for an hour and a half. Oh, the sad patheticism. Oh, such a pathetic dog. I know, you're so woeful. You're even more woeful than Quindy today, Kiki, and Quindy's pretty woeful. You dated too, lol. Yes, appreciating Art Nouveau is a big help. Yeah, it is. I love Art Nouveau, though, so... that answers a lot of questions, right? Yeah, Return is like, yeah, mix of Road, TikTok, and Ozma, but yeah, right. I mean, I can't really blame them for smooshing together a lot of, like, all that stuff into Return, because a lot of those books had a lot of, like, shall we say, slice of life, downtime, where characters are just like, let's keep going. Let's travel down this road. So, if you're condensing in a visual medium, you can condense pretty hard. There we go. So I'm going to put a hard shadow behind the leg there, and I'll blend it out. Yeah, they do get pretty trippy. They're trippy fairy tale. Trippy Art Nouveau trip fairy tale. Yeah. It's true. It's like Alice in Wonderland only under like the effects of even more alcohol. I don't think Lewis Carroll was actually drinking when he wrote Alice, but sometimes I wonder. Alright, so I'm getting a little bit too dark back here. I need to watch that, because over here, remember, we were going really subtle with everything. Now, if I want to, I can decide to take it darker as we get down into these tendrils, and I may want to at this point, because one thing this would allow me to do if I start taking the horse darker as it goes down, is I'll be able to introduce some shapes and textures into these tendrils to make them a little bit more interesting, and I'll be able to really, bring out more contrast, so... yes, the Alice and Dorothy stay together in the caption. I've seen some weird shit, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of filler, yes. Right, that was kind of my point. Kind of my point, Shotten, is that those books didn't have a lot of substance in them to begin with, so condensing 3 or 4 of them into one movie makes sense to me. Then you can actually have things happen. Yeah, yes, Victorian kids lit. Well, Victorian fiction in general went into some pretty wacky places. Oh, yeah. I think I only ever saw it once. I was more into the books as a kid, but still, yeah. We'll validate you, Laura. It's all good. You're among your people here. Yeah, Valandar. So when I do take things too dark, I can paint my lighter greens over the area to slowly bring it up if I wish to. But I think that at this point we are seeing the leg pretty well, so... Thanks for the resub, Valandar. 70 months. That is a heck of a long... Wait, it's Friday. That's a hell of a long time. I'm just gonna, take all my usual, unswears and make them swears today, so... In honor of Ed. That's funny. My mother blames me being born in California. She says the weirdness vibes got to me before they moved. And we do have some weird shit here. I will say, as a returnee to California. There are definitely things I've seen, on the street here that I would never have seen in Wisconsin. Maybe in Madison, but I never even saw it in Madison. Oh, wow, that's funny, Sean. You're a fan then. Yeah. Oh. You mean to drive now, Valinor? Get in the car? Get in the car and start kind of drive now? Drive to New York City? let's get light color in here. Wow, yeah, that's something else. What's the saying? A lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. I think that's a proper response to that. That's something I can see a college kid doing, but last time I checked, you're not a college kid, Melandar. That's ridiculous. Alright, let's get the green in on this foot. This little foot. I have not lined anything yet because I wanted to wait and see if I wanted to. If I didn't think that the armor plates looked good, I was gonna possibly fade some green into them. But now I'm like changing my mind. I'm thinking the armor plates actually look okay, so I will line them. So the armor will. Oh, I smooshed that off. The armor will be corporeal, fully corporeal. If you decide you want to do it differently, that's great. Then just keep the lining, like don't do lining, and creep the green into the edges of the armor plates. I have to get to Costco this weekend. At the same time, doing everything else, I have to get to Costco this weekend and get David's Christmas present. I could order it online, but I'll probably pay less at Costco. Okay, bottom of the feet is going to be darker. Run a campaign in a world that's mashup of fairy tales, yeah. Fairy tales and folklore. They're a little different in some places. Folklore in general often structured like fairy tales, but sometimes a little different, depending. I don't remember how. A lot of people classify them the same, but there's definitely folklore that's not fairy tales. I tend to like folklore a little bit better, though I pull from both with my books. David finished my book last night and really liked it. He said it was the best one yet. I must be improving with every book. I like that I'm improving. Like, it's weird, though, because I don't feel like it. Like, I can't tell that I'm improving. It's funny. It's funny, like, I feel like I ran into this with mini painting, too. It was that moment where I realized I had a style and I hadn't, like, it hadn't even... I hadn't been visible to me before. I'm happy. I'm happy that this book is better. I am noticing that people like the single viewpoint book. They like that it's one person. So North of the Wind was going to be a Tor and Sola, but I think it's actually going to be almost all Tor. And Sola's going to maybe get a couple of POV chapters if I have to. Yeah, that's true, Valinor. anyway. I guess I'm just going to keep writing, and if I keep getting better, that's awesome. Kind of like it's kind of the attitude you have to have with mini painting too. Anyway, if you just like mini painting, you're just going to do it. You're like, well, I guess I'm just going to keep mini painting, and I'll probably get better. It's totally valid. Oh, I got this ghosty stuff, and I didn't take that plate all the way around the leg. Grr! Did we use burgundy wine for that? I think we did. I've been using burgundy wine more since we got Kara's vintage. Burgundy wine's close enough. Hydrate! And I'm gonna solidify this little strap too. So that probably should be leather, not armor. Although actually, yeah, it's a hard call. Like, there could be another armor plate there. Oh well, we just have to go with what we're going with. It's good that I'm improving though. It means that Queenmaker should be really good. The next series. Alright, I'm just trying to get these plates under here. There's a little bit of room here behind the horse going back in here. I just have to kind of look and see how far that goes. Not very much farther than I think I have it right now. I think it kind of tucks into a swirl of phantom material back here. There we go. But yeah, so I think of the future books for Bear Kings, I'll try to keep it to a single POV with maybe just a little bit of a secondary character I have to. And I think South of the Stars is all Ash. 100% Ash. Single character. Just like Three Favors. I'm going to just solidify this color too since I'm here. Burgundy wine makes a really good start for red if you like your red to start dark and work light, as I do. It is a colder red color since it has so much blue in it. I do have a little bit of red that's leaked onto the horse here, and I am going to put a little white over that to blend it out. Luckily today is kind of a rest day. I don't have to fit a workout in, I just need to walk. There we go. Let's putting some white over that red helps to fade that out, and then I can put a little bit of green in there too. It's really hard to paint the inside of this leg, so I may end up just blocking it kind of in back here by the foot. Back in here, it's really hard to reach and get at that area. I'm just going to choose a green and kind of dab it back there. Not my darkest green. Couple up from that. Not too bad. So I feel like I can see that leg decently. Though I could take some lighter, greener, yellower greens and paint over some of these darker greens. Fade them in a little bit so that this color on the leg isn't the same as the color back here, which will help to make the leg look a little different. Then we'll go back to our darkest green again to block in an area underneath these plates. And I want to make sure that I keep that dark green here as well. When you're comparing stories, though, when you're comparing kind of mythology like that, or, you know, folklore, you're not looking at the trappings like spaceships. You look at the actual examples, like you drop out the context and you're like, you know, what things do these have in common without the window dressing? It's where you can really draw comparisons between like different folklore stories. It's how they classify those. So it doesn't matter if it's a witch or a troll. What matters more is like what the hero is doing or what the experience or structure of the tale is. Like going, you know, is it a three wishes kind of tale? Is it a three favors kind of tale? Is it a, you know, is it a quest and back kind of tale, right? Is it a helper kind of tale where the hero has supernatural aid, right? Or is it a magical item kind of tale? So what you'd do then is you'd figure out the parallels between the aliens and the Fae. And look for anything that wasn't a parallel. But I mean, both are essentially beings from another world, stealing humans, and doing bad things to them. So, you know, at their base core. And there's a variant story, you know, where, you know, the aliens are actually benevolent and want to save us all, you know, just like there's stories of the Fae, you know, leaving a human, you know, a human that manages to outsmart them, coming out with more than they went in with. But I've yet to hear an alien abduction story which ends with the human having a ray gun, so... just going to lighten up these little swirls here. I went a little dark on the leg here because I was doing stuff under the plates. So I feel like I need to lighten it up a little bit to get that contrast. Otherwise, the leg's going to kind of blend in here, which it's all ghosty stuff, right? But I still want you to be able to see the leg a little more. So when you're dealing with a bunch of transparent colors like this, it can be easy to just end up with mud, and you have to kind of work to bring out contrast so you can see the details. Otherwise, it's just a big blob of green, and you can't really see anything concrete in it. And I don't want that to be the case. A little better. Speaking of another archaic fantasy series, not quite as archaic, but Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. I will admit that although I liked the first book, I just never got into any of the books after it. Like, I felt kind of bad about it. Like, I felt like, you know, I'd probably like them. Looks like this also might be like armor or cloth back here. And I do have, actually, let me look at Dude here. Okay, so his cape's going to come down there. His arm's going to peg in there. So I won't really be able to see that little area underneath there, but I think I am going to make it red. Yeah, the Book of 3 series were cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, I always was like, I really feel like I should read that book, but I never did. But yeah, I do love the Black Cauldron and the other ones. You know, actually, since you seem to be aficionado of this stuff, Schottenjäger, my ultimate favorite, absolute 100%, is the Darkest Rising series by Susan Cooper. Have you read it? If you haven't, you should. Last book I felt was like a little bit here and there, like, but every book up to that, amazing. The Grey King was a Newbery Award winner, and a lot of the other books got nominated. Oh, okay, yeah. If you haven't read The Grey King, because I mean, The Darkest Rising, or the, you know, and the two first books are good, but I feel like Green Witch is good, and I feel like The Grey King is amazing. Worth reading if you want to go back and I even still reread them because they're just well written. Yeah, those are some of my ultimate favorites. They definitely like influenced my writing a lot. I loved how she pulled the Celtic folklore in and shifted it for her world. And that's I mean that's a lot of what I'm doing with my books. So you can see the influence right off. Got this red, so I'm gonna just block these in. So this is a little bit more transparent on the first coat. I did thin it a little bit. I'm also pulling it pretty thin. But I will put a second coat on and we should be fine. Yeah, I definitely did not. I did not interface with Narnia like I did a lot of the other kind of classic fantasy back then. Classic kids fantasy, I'll say. Alright, there's a tendril in there, so I want to keep that part ghosty. Is there a tendril on the other side? Yeah, there is. Okay, so the break is the same on both sides of the knight. So we'll come back with our armor color here. And this has a little bit more clearly sculpted plate here. And then we'll come and get the other side, which I totally forgot to do on the other side of the horse. Not a lot of room to get back here with the brush. This is a little bit hard. So I'll just have to only go a certain amount. 7 bucks. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what drove me off of Narnia. Maybe I didn't. I guess part of me was I didn't like what they did with Aslan. Because you know how persnickety I am about my animal characters. I didn't like the whole religious, like, reference. I think that may have kept me from. Because I liked the animated one when I was a kid, but I always didn't like what they did to Aslan, so that probably actually drove me off from even trying the other books. An interlude. I don't know what you call it. Is integral the right word for that? An aside. A supplementary story. I thought that's what Three Favors and Rite of Winter were going to be, by the way, but they totally turned into canon. Must read. I guess I should have figured that my brain wouldn't let me just write something that didn't advance the state of the world. Interquill. I like that word. Okay, Kiki, enough. No, that's good to know, Shotten. I don't know if I'll go back and give them a chance or not. At this point, I kind of don't want to read him because I don't want to... I don't read the genre I'm writing. And with a classic book like that, it's very, like, they tend to imprint you a bit, and I don't want to find myself pulling from C.S. Lewis while I'm writing Bear Kings. It'll be safe to read them when I'm no longer writing this genre. No, she's just being a brat, Pendrake. She just is bored, and so she barks when she hears anything. It's the way of the Kiki. Don't give her the benefit of the doubt. She's just a giant brat. And she knows it. Alright. Sorry, I had to take some nubbins off. Alright, that's solid. Let's get those plates in there, and then I can start wrapping around to that side. Yeah, I just don't like that in an author. BBC language was war problem. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen the BBC one. Kiki, you settle down, okay? I don't want to have to shut you in here for the last 20 minutes. I'm going to add a little bit more water to my gold here. It's gotten a little thick. The greens I all mixed with enough paint that they're staying pretty fluid. I usually read mystery, but lately I'm reading fantasy but lit RPG, which is very different from what I'm writing. It doesn't seem to give me the same problems. I just didn't have a good mystery that was really grabbing me I'm just not really in the... I guess I'm not in the mode for it right now. But I do generally love a good mystery. I tend to go cozy, though, and I haven't had a good cozy series for a while. Though I suppose you'd call, oh, it's from the 80s. Gotcha. Doesn't know if it holds up. Yeah, fair. But yeah, because he is pulling so much from fairy tale and folklore, I think C.S. Lewis is just too close to my genre right now to really, really read it. Maybe someday. But you know what? There's so much to read out there that I don't know. So many great books coming out all the time. Miniseries, got it. Yeah, okay. I read a little bit Jack Vance. A long time ago. I've fallen away. I used to read more sci-fi. But I've fallen away from it. I think just because like there is so much coming out now. There are so many good books in every genre that it's like before, like if there wasn't anything out in fantasy that I wanted to read, I would like go to another genre. Now it seems like there are new fantasy books every time I turn around that I want to read, and I don't have that much reading time. That's probably part of it too. Like as a kid I had so much more reading time than I do now. So we're just bringing in that gold in there, making those plates be solid, just like over here. I think Ghosty Horse is still going to look plenty ghosty. And once we have solid guy up on top, Ghosty Horse will look even more ghosty. Does he have a full gauntlet or is his hand green? Looks like a full armored gauntlet on him. Let's take a look at his other hand. Yeah, for sure. Alright, so his whole hand's going to be red. Ah, there's just the toe. Right. The foot. The toe. I think the last sci-fi book I actually read was the Expanse stuff, and I think I only got to book 3. I might have only gotten to book 2 before I stopped because I was reading it as it was coming out, and so it like I read book 2 and then I missed book 3 when it came out, or I started reading book 3 and just wasn't in the mood for it at the time and dropped it. David's read them all, I think. Yesterday, Kiki and I, it was raining, and David noped out of her morning walk. But I decided to walk her even though it was raining, but we actually made half of it a run so that we didn't have to walk in the rain as long. She seemed to like running in the rain. Yeah, pretty sure Expanse was the last science fiction I read. No, actually, MythBusters did a episode on that. It doesn't really noticeably help, but it does mean you're out there less long, and that was pretty much what I was in for. It took us. Kiki wanted to get home faster because she didn't want the rain in her face, and so we got home faster. But we still accomplished the full walk. She's such an energetic dog that, like, it's just foolhardy not to give her a walk if we can manage it. Oh my god, I'm still so sore, guys. We did pull-ups and ring dips last night before we even did our regular workout. And we did them in a new way to, like, actually, like, apparently the ways that we were doing them before were not effective, and so Allie, who is hardcore, had us train effectively, which means that my entire chest and back are just screaming today. Stretching is painful. Ring dip is when you are in a set of rings. You have your hands on the bottom. You're kind of like got the rings up against your shoulders, and you're doing this, and you press your whole body up out of the ring without your feet on the floor. So you're essentially lifting your body weight with all of that, the front and back muscles. So you're like going up, and then you're going down, and then you're going up, and then you're going down. And when you're modifying it, you could use a band to support some of your weight in the middle. Or you could do what I did and put your feet on a box in front of you, so some of your weight is off of your arms. And I did it with that. But it is definitely harder than some of the modified moves, which before we were doing, which allowed you to have your feet on the floor and just, like, put a little bit of weight on your arms. But Allie had us do this, and I can tell that it definitely was more effective because I ache everywhere. And it was the same with the pull-ups. There was a way to do it that was more quote unquote effective, which meant much harder and much more achy muscles today. So I want to leave the rump near white, I think. So I'm going to keep that there. I might take the glowy spots here. I actually made a color that was a really pale off-white here. So I think I might do that with the dungeon slime and the white. Just a little bit of color in it. Let's see if that works here to cover up the primer. Let's still make it really thin so that the light still comes through. A little bit more green. Kiki, you know the rule, young lady. It's all fine. Keep yourself together. We're almost done with the stream. So just bringing in a little bit of that color, and I'll show you how light this color is. It's that. Very slight, almost glow in the dark looking color. Just to remove a bit of this primer texture. Bye, Crowley. Got a few more minutes to go since I was on a little late. I assume I will be on tomorrow to stream then. We might not do a very long stream if I am making terrible progress on the book. So just taking that a little bit yellowy. But yeah, so twitch.tv/paintingbig at around 3 p.m. USA Central Time tomorrow. We'll probably working on the Golden Demon entry. Maybe not, maybe we'll work on something else. I have to work on a model for Christmas for David's parents. So maybe we'll do that. That'll be freehand. David will be happy to see me working on it, so since obviously we don't have that much time left. Wow, that's a lot of chicken curry. I respect the big batch though. I like to do that too. Make big batches. There we go. Okay. Still pretty glowy. Pretty glowy horse. Yeah, a little bit more of this. Alright. We have a lot of horse still to do, but we'll probably start transitioning to the other side. A lot more wisps of energy on this side than there are on this side, so won't be able to keep that as light. I think I will make this main area pretty pale though. just putting that light color on so somewhere to start with back there. Alrighty. Feel like that's pretty good. I think we'll call it there. Definitely got some progress done on Horsey and Guy. There we go. So we'll get more of Guy's armor blocked in after we got Horsey more blocked in. Whenever I get sick of green, we can come and work on more of his armor. And he's going to be pretty solid, I think, up until his face. I might actually work on his face a bit at some point with the green. I worry that once we paint in his cap, though, we'll lose this translucent look. So, there we go. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. His flail makes it very hard to put him anywhere. We will on Monday. We'll be on basing day, so we'll add the remnants of the. We'll finish up Werewolf's face, and we will probably work on sculpting Noli's face a bit more. Yeah, hopefully it will, Turgeon. I just need to really hit it today. Pretty much put Patreon aside and just hit the book. Alrighty. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Quindy. Thank you for modding. Thanks for everybody for your presence all week, and I will see you either tomorrow on my stream or on Monday on this stream, alright? Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.